Welcome to WO5O. Women over 50 embody wisdom and wellness.
My name is Corrine, and I'm here with my BFF, Eddi. And in
Hi.
today's episode is called Health is Wealth, Investing
In yourself.
in Yourself. Health is Wealth, Investing in Yourself. We had a good conversation. We talked about how, we all agree health is wealth, but it's not, health isn't just one thing. It's very multidimensional. And how do we do it as we get older and as humans?
Yeah, we talked about the dashboard lights and what our symptoms are like compared to that, and lots of fun little tidbits.
That's a Eddiism, Dr. Eddiism. Expand upon that a little bit. Your dashboard lights. That's your symptoms of yourself. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's one of Eddiisms. Well, it's like if you look at your car and you got the lights lit up on the dashboard, change the oil, engine light.
Yes.
I compare those to symptoms in the body.
So we hope you enjoy this episode as much as we enjoyed it.
Yes.
Hi, Eddi.
Hi, Corinne.
Again, what's with the Corinne?
Hi, Ken.
It's better.
I was just testing my radio voice. Corinne. Hi, Ken.
How's your weekend?
It was good. It was full of family things and, yeah.
Pickleball.
And pickleball, of course. Oh, I was in a tournament.
Uh-huh.
And I only started playing in January, and I just kept getting better and better. And the first day, I was in second place. So I made it to the top 6.
That's amazing.
Out of 140 people. So that was pretty
That's
cool.
A lot. That's a
yeah,
lot.
No pressure.
And you're like in an intermediate group already. You're not even a beginner anymore.
Nope. I'm in intermediate, but I realized I do not want the pressure of tournaments anymore. Yeah. I like to play, have fun.
You don't like everybody watching you. You don't like the audience in the finals.
No, that's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, I wouldn't like that either.
No, because I'm really aware of the audience. I've spent most of my life trying to let the audience fall away, and there it was.
And yet you can sing in front of people, no problem.
I can.
That's kind of like me when did I ever tell you the story? When I was running for Miss Lady of the Lake in high school, which is like the Miss Kelowna, teenage Miss Kelowna, Miss Lady of the Lake, because we have
Sounds
Lake
like
Okanagan.
A movie. Lady of the Lake.
I wasn't like a beauty pageant person or anything, but the rugby team, literally the gym teacher who was the head of the rugby team, they usually sponsor somebody in the Miss Lady of the Lake competition. They came to me and they said, would you like to run for Miss Lady of the Lake? And I was in like grade 11 or something. And I was like, what is that? And he's like, it's a beauty pageant, but it's, about your talent and your public speaking and all that. And I was like, I have never done anything like that, but why not? So I had a sachet that said Miss Rugby on it. And I was with all these, other 25 young ladies, like 15 to 17 years old around Kelowna. And so we had this public speaking part. So I'd already been singing for a while and had singing competitions and things like that. And so I could sing in front of people, no problem. But public speaking was a whole new realm for me. So we took this public speaking workshop in the Lady of the Lake, in preparing for the Lady of the Lake competition. And I got in front. So we took this, this course. And so with the way when you go out and you answer your question the night of the event, you're supposed to repeat the question so you have time to think about it, right? So everybody's in the back because all the ladies we're all getting asked the same question, but we don't know what the question is till we come out and then we answer the question and then we sit down, right? So we're all coming out one by one, not hearing what they're saying. So I come out, I'm like the 5th person or something, and they pose the question, what do you think Kelowna has to offer the younger generation as they graduate and, go to college? What kind of opportunities are there here in Kelowna? And I was leaving. I was getting the hell out of town. That'd be like them asking you, what do you think St. John says to offer you? Like, you're heading out of town, right? So I'm like, what Kelowna has to offer me is And I think it was probably my mother. There's about 2,000 people in the audience, and somebody just started clapping, and everybody started clapping, and I sat down and I never answered the question.
Oh no.
I
Oh,
sat down. I was so embarrassed.
you didn't get first place.
So I
then.
didn't get first place or second place.
Not-
And then I sang I Honestly Love You 20 minutes later and rocked the house,
Yeah.
no problem. But I'm still, if I have my guitar, I can talk all day long. I think you're the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I
without
love
my
it.
guitar, although you're really good at speaking about health stuff too, if you're speaking on health and wellness, it's not a problem for you.
Well, if I'm in my wheelhouse, I'm comfortable.
Yeah.
If I'm not, yeah, I tend to get a bit nervous. I was in a beauty pageant once only because they needed an extra person. And my sister, who was 2 years older, she signed me up and she was all about that. I was like, sweatshirt and jeans and sneakers kind of gal. And she's all about the lipstick and her hair and the
Which sister?
dresses. Alverna, my older sister.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She still
And
is
so
like
she's
that.
like, you need to be in this pageant. And I was on the basketball team. So I was so nervous. This isn't my wheelhouse. So she goes, so here we are dressed up. I think you could see through my dress. I think you could see Tuesday on my underwear because nobody told me you had to wear a slip, and then they light up the stage. Oh, I was so embarrassed. And I was 8th grade. I think my mother put ringlets in my hair. It's just all wrong. And we go out on the stage and my sister's like, hi, my name's Alberta and I represent, the 4-H club and she listed off all her things. And then it was my turn and I was red as a beet. I thought I was going to pass out.
Or
And
vomit.
I walked. I did. I was going to do something. I was like turn into Carrie or something. And I walk out and I'm like, hi, my name is Eddi. I represent the basketball of our school. And everybody started to laugh. And I'm like, I didn't know why they were laughing because I forgot team.
Right.
And I was rehearsing it over and over in my head. And I represent the basketball team, and team didn't come out. Yeah. I swallowed. I was like, choked. And my sister to this day, and she's older, she laughs at that like it just happened yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
oh, yeah.
This is what's so great about doing this, Ken, because we're talking about stuff that we, in our almost 40 years of friendship, haven't even shared. This is information that's new to you.
It is. Had you heard my story before?
No, I didn't know you were a lady of the lake.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, this is so cool.
Yeah, that is. And while you were playing pickleball, I was in silence all weekend. I did a silent retreat Thursday to Sunday. And so I just came out of silence yesterday. And but it was kind of like, I don't know, it was a powerful retreat as it always is. So I've been doing, I've been doing silent retreats since I was 26. I love them.
Yes.
Highly recommend it.
I do too. I love the one we went on together and we
Last
behaved.
year, yeah.
Yes.
We did behave. We didn't talk.
Nope.
My mom, our mom. My mom.
Mm-hmm.
My mom didn't think we could do it. She laughed. She's like, "You're going on a silent retreat with Eddi. Well, you better get all your laughs out before you go." She says, because we do tend to laugh a lot together.
Yes, we do. Laughter's great medicine.
Mm-hmm. So
talking about health, yeah.
Yes. Tell me what our topic is today.
Well, we were going to talk about health is wealth. The whole point of investing in ourselves, investing in yourself. What do you do
to stay healthy?
Mind.
Inner and outer. I mean, the whole mind, body, spirit.
The whole body.
Yeah.
What do we do?
Mind, body, spirit. What do we do? Well, it's interesting because when you and I have spent a lot of money on prevention. That's what we, as far as our physical health goes. And then even our mental health too, same thing, like silent retreats, meditating daily. And a lot of people that don't know, like that, use their medical card to go to the doctor and are not they're used to doing their copay. I've been paying cash for my stuff, like whether it's the chiropractor or massage or doctors, although I haven't been to an MD in, I don't know, at least 20, 30 years. I don't know when last time I went. You're my doctor, but that's because we spend money in a different way. And so when people start, I feel like that's part of the breakdown of the medical system, at least in the USA, and I know Canada's had its challenges too, is it's about people taking responsibility for their
Mm-hmm.
health and their
Yes.
wellness. And because, used to be, um, your family doctor usually birthed you, was there when you were born, had been at your house, knew what pets you had, knew your parents and you knew their parents, knew your
Mm-hmm.
family lineage, knew where you lived. So they were your family doctor. So when you went in, they, you had an allergy to something, they know, oh, that's, your uncle so and so had this allergy or whatever. That's just not the way it is anymore
No,
in the
so much has
States.
changed. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
so
much
much
has
has changed.
changed. Even pre-COVID and post-COVID. Um,
Right.
we had to telepath calls, we had
Right.
to do Zoom medicine, and people couldn't get their treatments, or things got canceled. And there was a lot of pivoting went on in medicine, how to restructure and reorganize. And now, looking back and looking forward, we go, what do we do on a day to day basis to prevent illness, to prevent, if I can't get into the hospital or I can't get seen immediately, what is it I can do? What is it? Am I taking stock of how I'm living my life and how it's working for me? Because it changes. What we needed at 15 is so different than what we need at 25 and
Yeah.
at 35 and 50 and 60 and 80. But if we're doing some, alternative medicine, so if we're applying some people call it complementary medicine, integrated medicine, that's just kind of looking at the dashboard of your car and seeing what's lit up. So we look at what's the symptoms in our body that are like that dashboard. We're not going to ignore the oil light on our vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
So if our blood pressure's up, or we're having panic attacks, or our heart rate is off, we don't ignore those things. We need to go, okay, what's going on in my life? Either sit with somebody who can counsel you through it, or, sometimes Dr. Google's the worst thing, because people get on the computer and they got themselves diagnosed something terrible. But
Totally. I
it's,
see that all the time, people following that.
oh,
And I'm like, oh,
yeah, and it can be totally wrong. So,
mm-hmm.
but right away, what's the first thing we get people to do? You and I agree on this. With meditation and yoga, me with nutrition, and well, we both life coach, but we tell people to breathe
Mm-hmm.
right away. Breathe.
Mm-hmm. Breath
What's
is
the
life.
first thing? The breath,
Mm-hmm.
the breath. Slow it down.
Mm-hmm.
Just and what's the thought we're thinking? Slow it down. And right
Mm-hmm.
away, we do that one little thing, maybe we can incorporate it into our lives further by learning different breath techniques, or if we're panicked before we go to work or our life is out of control, like work with the breath first.
And there's so much free information online. Like there's like our podcast is free right now,
Yes.
and hopefully always will be. It won't be subscription, or at least if it ever is subscription in the future, hopefully part of it'll be free. But both you and I have a lot of free information online.
Mm-hmm.
We've got you've got your website, and you've got some recipes and links to things, and I have the same thing on some of my sites. And if you just Google breathing technique for anxiety, you can go to
Yes.
YouTube and be directed by a great teacher for free on a
Mm-hmm.
great breathing technique for anxiety, or great breathing technique or meditation for depression, or great breathing technique if you're having a panic attack, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And again, these are all symptoms of something that's the body's trying, like you said, the dashboard they're lighting up. They're symptoms of what your body's trying to tell you. And the doctors are not God. They can only give you their best guess.
Yes.
And they
Well,
can
and
only
they're
give you,
specialists, right? There a lot of
yeah,
them are specialists in their field. And we have to, I get a lot of people who blame their docs for not picking up on something. Well,
right.
I don't think that's a good thing to do personally. I think they're doing the best they know.
Yeah.
Um,
With the
they
information that they have and
yes,
time that they have.
Well, and they're hoping that you're doing your part too.
Right, right.
My stepson's a medical doctor, and it's beautiful to watch him in action because sometimes he'll say, well, if some people made some lifestyle changes, that could fix this and this and this and this. And I'm like, you're absolutely right. At least
Mm-hmm.
we agree on that page.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Yeah.
I started out in medicine as an oncology nurse and then got into the naturopathic side of things because of
Mm-hmm.
my own health. And
Mm-hmm.
it changed everything.
Mm-hmm.
And in the work I do, I always say the healthier you are, the more insurable you are.
Right, right.
Because once we start documenting things and we got stuff on paper and some things that could have been maybe fixed with some lifestyle changes, I mean, we need the guidance and the tools before we can do it. So, but once we start taking responsibility for our own health, we look at how we live our lives, what we eat. There's so many things.
Yeah, how active we are on a daily basis. How is our sleep? Um,
Exercise, stress,
Exercise,
yeah,
water. Where's the
sleep,
yeah.
basic needs.
Mm-hmm. And then what's our stress levels? What's our physiological stress levels, emotional stress levels? Are there some family members we don't speak to, or a
Yeah,
friend that we're angry at, or whatever, or a friend that we have that's super needy and dramatic all the time, or a child
yeah.
who's a drug addict, or, I mean, the different
Mhm.
stressors that happen for everybody. And
Yep.
it's like baby steps. It's like, I think people get, oh, because we are in this information age and there's so much out there. I think it is easier sometimes to put the responsibility in somebody else's hands, but it doesn't end well. So that's why people want to go to the doctor, because that's what they've always done. And then they don't can take off the responsibility because they don't even know where to start. But the doctor usually, unless it's a life-threatening thing or a car accident, usually can only give you their best guess. And then you've still got to they might give you a little pill to take for whatever is ailing you, but usually that is going to be not solving the problem, because that's just sort of how Western medicine is geared. So
Mhm.
you're going to still have to go find out what the root of it is, and you just baby steps, one step at a time. And I know you're so good at that, because you get people. It's kind of, I guess, like a new person coming to me that doesn't know where to start with yoga or meditation or mindfulness or de-stressing their head or whatever. I start them with, a book, usually like The Untethered Soul is one that we both recommend to people, because that's like a basic thing that helps you to realize that you're not your thoughts. You know,
Mhm.
people might hear that, but they don't know what that really means. So, where do you start with
Yes.
people that are brand new?
Well, the first thing though, I want to catch
Yeah, yeah,
what you said. Sometimes docs will have their best guess. They're taking their best guess.
yeah.
Well, I don't think it's a guess. I think it's an intake sheet. So, there's a lot that they look at, and then they have to determine out of that information from the signs and symptoms of the patient or the blood tests coming in or the x-ray or the scan, all the things that they are looking at. And then they have to, break it down and evaluate it. And then if nothing comes back, there's nothing going on here. And there's no, your white count's perfect. There's nothing showing up here, but the person still has the symptoms. What do they do then?
You write a prescription for something just to give them something, right?
Sometimes, or you're referred out. You're referred to
Mm,
somebody. Well, let's send you to someone in psychology or an internist, or like they're really doing the best they can with the information. When we combine all the integrative things out there, I think we all will get more bang for our buck when you have a good medical team you can count on, and hopefully they're not the guys you have to run to a lot. So you have your massage therapist or your naturopath, or your osteopath,
acupuncturist.
chiro, yeah, network chiropractor, right? Yeah. There's so acupuncture. I mean, there's so many modalities to choose from that address those. I call it the space between the spaces. So the spaces that we can't measure by blood or scans, but those symptoms are real: the pain, the discomfort, the tiredness, the fatigue, low energy, low sex drive, like even stuff that's going on with people, men and women in menopause. Everybody's got the same symptoms, but for different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, hormones are dropping, but which ones?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a sliding scale with it all. Who's got the lowest progesterone and who's got the lowest estrogen? Usually the woman screaming in the corner. No, I'm kidding. But
No,
it's
no. So who's the woman screaming in the corner has the lowest?
usually the lowest progesterone,
Yeah.
lowest estrogen. They're
Eh,
feeling ancient. They're starting to feel old, no sex drive. The list goes on, and they're like, I don't know what's wrong with me, and I'm just in my mid 50s or 60s, and I'm falling apart. Well, what are you doing about it? How are you addressing it? What were you doing for yourself up until then?
mhm.
How was the stress in your life? Did you do yoga? Have you been meditating?
Going
Most of
on
the time,
walks.
going on walks, getting out in nature, just breathing in the air by the ocean. Nope, they've been taking a vacation once or twice a year and they get sick as soon as they get to the beach.
Yeah.
Why is that? Well,
Their body knows they
because
have time to be sick.
yes, and the cortisol levels start to drop. And then all the other stuff that's ready to jump on board and attack goes to work. So, there's a lot to know about the body. And if it doesn't interest you, well, people are just going to go, I don't want to eat like that. It's too much work, or I don't want to know that. You got to get something. You got to die of something. You know, my brother said to me one time, yep, Eddie, I don't know how she does it. She eats really clean and she she's exercising and she's always doing something. He said she's going to be the only one on the planet die of nothing.
It's
How'd she die?
Carl.
I don't know. She died of nothing. I was like, okay.
And you
That's
had to do
funny.
that because you were sick all the time, not knowing what to eat when you were young, not
Oh
knowing you
my
were celiac.
goodness. Yes, I never knew till I was almost 30 that yeah, I was celiac. So, um,
And
we
also
grew up
dairy allergy and
dairy and chocolate,
yeah.
terrible. My goodness. Yeah, and those are the foods I ate. I was a kid. But we didn't have the testing and it wasn't obvious to
Mhm.
lots of docs, even though I spent tons of time in the hospital. It wasn't a common thing as it
Mhm.
is now. We have IBS and celiac and Crohn's and colitis and diverticulitis, all these bowel things. And people have the internet. They have books and they go in and go, Doc, I think I have this going on. And they
Yeah.
list off the things and the
Yeah.
doc goes, well, let's run the test. It's amazing.
Yeah. And what I find is, some of the people that are newer to sort of alternative medicine, which we're talking about, is yes, you have your regular doctor. I'm rare that I don't go to. That's not necessarily recommended, um, but I actually live with a doctor, so that's one of the
Well,
reasons
that
why
kind of helps.
it
And
kind of
you have
helps.
lots of friends
And
who
I've lots
who have
exactly.
doctors in their lives, so we get your
Yeah.
questions,
Yeah.
answered pretty quick. Yeah.
Yeah. But a lot of people when they're new to sort of when they're sort of disillusioned by Western medicine and just because, you know, if you really take responsibility, it's because they've put too much they haven't done the holistic stuff. They haven't and now they have no choice because nothing else is working, right?
Mm.
They can become resentful of the money that they have to spend then on acupuncture and massage and organic groceries and maybe gluten free and different things like that. But I tell them that's what the title of our talk is today, investing in yourself.
Health is
Health is
wealth.
wealth. Because if you don't have your health, you don't matter if you're a gazillionaire.
Yes.
If you don't have your health, you have nothing. You cannot enjoy
Yes.
your life.
I think that's a common statement that most people will agree with, and especially as you get older. I haven't met a 60, 70, 80, 90-year-old person that has not agreed with me with that statement.
Yeah.
Health is wealth. Because as soon as you say it, they go, yes, because without that, you're it's like a major disability.
Yeah. You can't
It's
you
not.
can't enjoy your life. You can't do life. You can't get out and do the
Yeah.
things you love. And now there are some people who have limitations who wouldn't consider themselves, because I've got another friend of mine who was in a car accident many years ago, and she has a plate in her head and a plate in her leg, and she walks, but she has balance problems, right?
Mhm.
And part of the work that I've done with her is she's constantly wanting things to be the way they were before the accident.
Hmm.
And so, when we have things that happen to us, it is natural for the mind to want to go there, but it's not very helpful. And to me, and she's realized this over time too. That's part of the reason why she's having balance problems, because she's not living fully in the present
Mhm.
moment.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, the more because when you're fully present, even if you have balance problems, if you're fully present, then you're really feeling your feet on the ground, and so that's her work, is to appreciate what she has, the health that she has. And she is
Yes.
actually really good with eating healthy most of the time.
Mhm.
And she meditates. She's pretty good at coming to yoga. She does personal training, she's found her team of people to help her. But now I feel like most of it is her mind it's like the mind will go to, I wish I was this, but in order to get, so I always explain it to people, if you have 100% of yourself fully present in the moment, which most of us don't have most of the time, then you are, whether it's your intuition of what to eat or what to say, or your breath, or your walking, then you're taking 100% of yourself into the next moment, into the next moment, and you multiply that by a week and a month, and you've got so much presence, so much intuition and mindfulness in each moment. But then alternatively, which is the way most people live, if you've got 25 or 50% of yourself right here and now, 25 or 30% of yourself in the past, regretting it, wishing you were somewhere else, 20% of yourself in the future. I know that's not adding up to 100, but whatever it is, 25% in the future, thinking about what am I going to do later on, or who am I going to talk to, then you're operating on 50% of yourself in the present moment. Okay. And then you
Mhm.
multiply that by a week, a month, and that you're not going to be really fully living, multiplied by, by next month, you're not going to be present. But so that's the importance of being here now and fully present, and
Mhm.
spending time on what is the next clear step to take rather than the next 10 steps. Part of the coaching that I do with people is they're so worried about 20 steps in front of them that they have no control over. But what you do have control over is what goes in your mouth right now, what you decide to focus on in your mind right here and now.
Mhm. And when when you stress over something, you're thinking a thought that's put you already out of present moment.
Yeah.
You're gone
Hmm.
into the
The
future.
future. Yeah.
So as quick as you can get back to that present moment, no matter if it could be something as simple as looking at your dog crossing the floor, playing with its toy, and just kind of displacing yourself to that dog, going, "Oh my God, he's so cute and he gives me so much joy." And that's what we do. This is dogs, animals in our lives give us joy. They actually, it is proven, they help release oxytocin, the
Mm.
feel good hormone. So, soon as we can get ourselves into that moment thinking, to be brought back into a feel good place, and because it's the moment you have, it's all you have.
Yeah.
It's
It's
the
all there
same when
ever
we,
is. The
it's all
future.
there ever is. Same with aging. It's a privilege denied by many. So, that's the focus. This is what this podcast has helped me with. And I think you as well, just embracing this aging process that's
Inevitable.
happening.
it's
Yeah,
it's inevitable.
it's inevitable. What's the alternative?
Right. Yeah,
So,
yeah. Leaning into being in our 60s,
yeah,
entering
and
yeah,
enjoying the transformational time of
yeah.
every 10 years or every 5 years or every minute, every second. So I think as we get older, especially after 50, we really, really have to focus in on the health picture, because if we haven't done much before then, well, we better get on it.
Yep.
But, most people coming into my office now, they come to see me for prevention. They want to prevent an illness, or they're having symptoms that they go, what else can I do instead of doing this? And then that's what we discuss is the alternatives, right? So when we're at this age, women over 50, we go, ooh, I got to be doing things that keep my body healthy, my mind healthy, my thinking cap. Where is it? Well, good. If you don't know where it is, perfect. Meditation. I like you said, our frontal limbic system. I want to have that the rest of
Frontal
my.
lobe, the limbic system's in the back. Frontal
Oh
lobe.
yes, your frontal lobe.
And
I
limbic
thought you
system
were.
is the fear in the back.
Yes, that's what you were talking about.
Yeah.
Okay. Meditation feeds these areas.
Yeah. Well, it actually, the
Fuels.
scientific study is that when you meditate, even though it feels like if first of all, I feel like you should take instruction from a meditation teacher like
Yes.
myself, the Insight Timer, TM, Transcendental Meditation, a Deepak Chopra teacher, the Buddhist community, Vipassana, there's so many, mindfulness. You don't really want to learn how to meditate from a book. And then once, the meditation studies show that the rumination part of your brain, which is more of the side part of your brain, the rumination part, is lessened. And so your frontal lobe, which is your critical thinking, actually that's what's a lot bigger now in the last couple hundred years because we are more creative thinking, inventing things, and it gets more folds in it when as you get like usually it starts to freeze after 60. The frontal lobe starts to freeze and doesn't grow anymore, but with meditators it doesn't stop. It doesn't, the
Wow.
frontal lobe does not stop growing. And so that's one of the things that got my mom. My mom's 84 now. She does have some memory issues, but I've got theories about that. She meditates every day though.
I do too. I think it's so important.
Yeah. So
Wow.
memory stuff. I have had a few people ask about memory, and someone was mentioning to me the other day when she found out I was doing keto. She said, I did keto for a while. I was having memory issues, and it really helped my memory issues. And so
All the
there's
good
some,
fats.
yeah,
It's
the
the
good,
good fats.
because as we get older, I think we eat less fats, we eat less food in general. When I'm talking, well, you like we're 70 and 80, usually you stop eating less calories. You don't need as many, but you still need your fats.
Especially
And
the superfoods, the avocados and with that wonderful pH it has, and coconut and blueberries and our greens, our leafy greens, our oils, they're so important. Olive oil. These are amazing foods.
yeah,
Macadamia nuts, like these should be in your diet every day.
every single day.
We got to make room for those fats, less room for carbs and processed sugars.
Yeah.
That's across the board.
For everybody.
The common, yeah, the
Yeah.
common denominator, just for everybody, a low carb, low sugar, processed sugars. There's all this dead processed food. I mean, ugh.
Yeah, which is so hard. I mean, it's hard and easy at the same time. So it just takes a matter of changing the way you look at things. I think anything you want to look at what you can do and not what you can't do. It's difficult because every ad, now I haven't had cable in a long time, but there's food ads all over the place, and you drive down the road and there's food and there's fast food everywhere. I haven't been, and I know Eddie hasn't for sure, in a fast food restaurant in, I don't know, at least 20 years, if not longer than that, and it's, you know, that's kind of should be a general rule of thumb is no fast food. And then even you go to Costco, I love Costco, but there's like high carb food everywhere. But if you look for it, there are things sweetened with monk fruit and stevia, so you can still have your little sweet. I know Eddie's always really good about that. You still want to have your little treats,
You
but just
gotta
not
have
the
your little
ones.
treat.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I even say to people, most people that come to see me or talk with you, Corinne, they want to make the changes. They want to
Yeah.
do something,
They're ready. Yeah.
But I throw it out there sometimes to people and just go, just for 1 week, just try adding up the amount of carbs you're eating. Like look at your crackers, the box, and read the carbs and the sugar grams in it. Look at your cereal or look at your kids' foods, and it is mind blowing. how quickly it adds up. I mean, I had a fifth grader. She did a report about it, and she said, "Oh my goodness, you told me to go home, take everything out of my cupboard, and take pictures of it and send it to you." And she did. And she goes, "And then put back in the cupboard what had less than 10 grams of carbs in the box." And she said, "We couldn't put anything back in the cupboard."
Per serving. Per serving, right?
Per
10 grams.
serving.
Yeah.
Yes, per serving. Everything was high in carbs. And the whole family, were struggling with weight issues and tiredness and fatigue and lots of things. So they did
Focus.
it as a family. And
Nice.
yeah. And when they came back in, I said, "What's the biggest thing that you've noticed?" And the little one, she goes, "We're all happier." And man, that keeps my door open another day because that's the best ever. Yeah. Much happier. Wow.
That's what we're
Yeah.
here for.
It's an inside job.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
beautiful. Oh, what a great story to end on, Eddie. That was
I
another
know.
deep dive.
It was beautiful.
So until we meet again,
Be kind. Be well.
be happy. Be kind
Be
to yourself.
Be authentic.
Be authentic. Be kind,
Be kind
to
to
yourself.
others and to others.
I love you.
you.